You are hiding in a hole in the ground in Southampton County, Virginia. Above you, the largest manhunt in Virginia history is moving through the woods. You have been down here for 6 weeks. You started a rebellion that killed 55 people in 36 hours and came within 3 miles of the armory that would have made it unstoppable. Then it collapsed. And now you are in the ground, listening to horses and dogs and men with torches who have been looking for 6 weeks without stopping. This is how it ends. But you need to understand how it started. Level 1, the preacher. You are 30 years old. You can read. You can preach. You have memorized more of the Bible than most white ministers in Southampton County. Your owner lets you preach to the other slaves because a slave who believes in heaven is easier to manage than one who doesn't. That is the first mistake they made. The second is not watching what you told those people heaven looked like. You are not who they think you are. You have never been who they think you are. Level 2, the visions. You are a child when the first one comes. You describe an event that happened before your birth, and your parents go still because no one told you about it. Your grandmother says the scars you were born with mean something, that you were marked before you arrived. You believe her. You spend your childhood reading everything you can find, praying, watching the sky. In 1825, you see black and white spirits fighting in the sky. Blood on the corn. A voice tells you Christ has laid down the yoke, and you should take it up. You wait for a sign. February 1831. A solar eclipse turns the sun dark in the middle of the day. That is your sign. Level 3, the plan. You choose 4 men. Hark, Nelson, Henry, Sam. You plan to start on the 4th of July, the date the country uses to celebrate freedom while keeping you in chains. You get sick and the date passes. Then on August 13th, the sun turns a strange blue-green color. The sky looks like nothing any of you have ever seen. You tell your men, now. August 21st, 1831, Sunday night. You start with hatchets because guns make noise. You start at the house of your owner, Joseph Travis. He has treated you, by the standards of this world, decently. You know this changes nothing. The rebellion is not about Joseph Travis. It is about the system Joseph Travis benefits from every day without thinking about it. You move. Level 4, the rebellion. You go house to house through the night. First the Travis farm, then the Reese farm, then more houses, more farms. At each one, your numbers grow. Men coming out of the dark with axes, scythes, muskets pulled from the walls. By the Whitehead farm, you have over 40 men, and the sound of you moving through Southampton County is starting to wake people who are still alive to hear it. A child on the road sees you coming and runs. You let her run. One of your men questions this. You tell him, we are not at war with children. You keep moving. 55 people die in 36 hours. The largest slave rebellion in American history. You come within 3 miles of Jerusalem and the armory that would have changed everything. Almost. Level 5. The hole. 3 miles from the armory, you hit armed white men and your formation breaks. Within 48 hours, it is over. Your men are killed or captured one by one. You dig a hole in the woods near where you started and you climb in. 6 weeks. The ground is wet. The insects never leave. You have almost nothing to eat. Bark, roots, whatever you can reach without climbing out. Above you, the manhunt moves through the trees. You hear the dogs. You hear horses on the road 50 yards away. You hear men calling to each other in the dark, and you lie in the ground and you breathe as slowly as you can and you do not move. Every footstep that comes close might be the last thing you hear. You do not regret what you started. You regret that it didn't go further. Level 6. The Cell. October 30th, 1831. A farmer named Benjamin Phipps finds your hole. His dog finds you first. You come out with your sword, dull since the first night. Phipps has a shotgun. You surrender. They bring you to the Jerusalem jail in chains. The cell smells like sweat and damp wood. Straw rots in the corner. Outside you can hear people gathering to see you. Then a lawyer named Thomas Gray comes in with paper and pen, trying to look composed and not fully succeeding. You tell him about the visions, the eclipse, what you believed and what you did and why. You are calm, precise. Your voice does not shake. Gray keeps looking up from his notes, searching for rage, delusion, fear, anything, and cannot find it. You are simply a man who decided. At the end, he asks if you feel guilty. You look at him. Was not Christ crucified? Gray closes his notebook. He does not sleep well after that meeting. You can tell. Level 7. The Verdict. November 5th, 1831. The courtroom is packed. People along the walls, women in the gallery. No one talks when you walk in. They stare at the chains first and then at your face. You plead not guilty. Not because you deny what you did. You do not deny it. You plead not guilty because you do not believe what you did was a crime. You believe it was a commandment. The jury takes 40 minutes. Guilty. November 11th. The judge sets the date. You nod once and say nothing. You knew this was at the end of it when you started moving. Level 8. The Hanging. November 11th, 1831. Jerusalem, Virginia. They hang you in front of a crowd that came expecting a monster and found a man standing calmly on the scaffold. After they hang you, they mutilate your body and distribute remains as souvenirs across Southampton County. They have been terrified since August 22nd, when they woke up and understood what had moved through the night. Everything they do afterward is proof of that terror. You cannot be buried whole because a grave becomes a monument. You cannot be mourned cleanly because mourning becomes movement. They are right to worry about both. Level 9. The Retaliation. You are dead when this happens. It happens because of you. White mobs move through Virginia and neighboring states in the weeks after. They pull men out of their fields in the middle of the afternoon. They drag families from their cabins at night. Somewhere between 100 and 200 black people die, enslaved and free, guilty of nothing except existing in Southampton County after Nat Turner. One image stays. A free black man named Billy, who had nothing to do with the rebellion, is found on the road 2 miles from his home. He is carrying a pass signed by his employer. He shows it to the men who stop him. They kill him anyway. The pass is still in his hand when they cut him down. It does not matter if you rebelled. It does not matter if you were innocent. After Nat Turner, blackness itself is enough. Just the system reminding everyone what it can do whenever it wants. Level 10. The Laws. The Virginia legislature debates emancipation after your rebellion, seriously, for the first time. Your 36 hours forced a conversation they had been refusing for 50 years. They vote it down. Then they do the opposite. It becomes illegal to teach enslaved people to read. Illegal for black preachers to hold services without a white person present. Illegal for free black people to carry weapons. They outlaw drums in some places because drums can call people together. They monitor prayer meetings because prayer can become planning. They search cabins for books because a man who can read can start asking questions they do not want answered. A white lawmaker says slavery in Virginia has been resting on a volcano the entire time. That is what they finally understand. Not that you were uniquely dangerous, that you were not unique at all, that there are thousands of people in Virginia who can read the Bible, study the roads, memorize the routines, wait for the right night, and decide they would rather die than stay where they are. That is what terrifies them. Not Nat Turner, the man. Nat Turner, the possibility. Everything you were, literate, organized, driven by conviction, they make illegal in direct response to you. For decades, the confessions of Nat Turner cannot be legally owned across most of the South. Your name becomes something people avoid saying out loud. Because what you did in 36 hours scared them badly enough to spend the next century making sure no one found out it had been possible. Read the laws they passed the morning after. That is your receipt.